Good morning, Joyflu group. So nice to be back on. I'd had a little break after the self-love challenge. Not deliberately, just had other things to focus on. So, um, mm, 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 mm. So I've titled this Less is More, and I've just shared on the Andrea Martell Joy Scientist Facebook page a link to my latest blog, and it's just a short article called The Art of Minimalism. No, that's not true. It's called The Far Beyond the Stars, but it's a blog, an old blog that's been archived that I used to read back in 2010 about minimalism. And if you haven't heard of minimalism before, it's a lifestyle movement. It's effectively about having less things in your life. So, living in a smaller environment, having less clothes and all the things that we have around us, having less things. So it's very much like anti-consumerism sort of lifestyle. So I used to read that blog back in 2010, a guy called Everett Borg, who just was a really clever writer, and he really inspired me. And at the time, we hadn't even, I think we'd been in this house for less than like 2 years. We bought the big house in the suburbs with the intention of, having a family and whatnot. But yeah, we bought the house, and then, you go about furnishing the house and all of the rooms and, all that stuff. And yeah, I was working under full-time employment at the time, so I had plenty of cash flow to do that sort of thing. And yeah, I'd somehow stumbled onto this guy's blog talking about minimalism, and it was the first time I'd heard about it, and I was like, it was just the way he wrote. And yeah, I encourage you to go to the article and click on some of the links, and just, I'd be curious to see if if the way he writes sort of isn't as enticing to others as what it was to me. But I was literally waiting each week for every day I was jumping onto his website to check out the latest article. And so that was kind of like this. There was another catalyst about 12 months earlier than that I'll also talk about, that sort of got me down this path of, personal development and everything else that has effectively led to. But yeah, the idea of focusing on what's important and just getting really clear about what that is, and then eliminating eliminating everything else that doesn't fit into that. So particularly, in this day and age, we have access to so much. I was actually just on a call with a friend before, and we're talking about how there is a ridiculous amount of content available, and I've forever got beautiful friends who shoot me through, podcasts and articles and books and courses and events, and it's all fantastic. Don't get me wrong, I love consuming content. I'm forever learning. However, I'm also here to serve, and so I've also got to get my own content out. And the other thing was, there was a guy called Kane Meniscus, Kane, who I follow on Facebook, and he did a brilliant post yesterday talking about, the time of content is done, because of the same reason. There's just too much out there. People don't have enough time to sit there. That's why, keeping these lives to short and sweet so that people have actually got time to listen to them. And yeah, he was like, it's no longer about just getting content out, because, you know, we're forever doing it. I read a book, and then I can share what I've learned, and that's then creating more content, which is great. However, he's now talking about, and this just resonated 100%, was that it's not content is king anymore. It's how integrated are you with that content. And I was like, yes, that's it. That's sort of been the missing link for me, because I can witness others who are also doing similar things to myself, or, you know, slightly different versions. And I'll be like, hang on, they're just regurgitating something that we both just saw recently or heard, or something we've just learned, but it's not coming from integrated. Like, they're not actually living that of which they're teaching or speaking about. And I've forever said this in any training I've ever run. I only talk about the things I actually do and apply in my life. I might say, hey, there's this cool thing that I've just learned or heard about, but I don't talk at it coming from a position of knowing or understanding or wisdom. Yeah, having actually embodied it and applied it, and actually be that thing that I've learned and applied. So that's really important to me. That kind of comes in under my my integrity values. And so, wow, this has gone on a different tangent than what I was expecting. So yeah, just discerning with the content that we're consuming, going, all right, when we're listening to something, going, okay, this sounds really useful. Is the person that's sharing this with me, are they actually integrated with this bit of information? Are they actually living it? Is it actually their truth, or are they just regurgitating something that they've just heard recently? Yeah, so anyway, back to the original topic of less is more. So just, yeah, reflecting on the idea of minimalism. And for me, you know, just under 10 years ago, this was a massive game changer. And I was already quite a frugal saver in the financial department, having, you know, been squirreling money away for things like house deposits and whatnot. But the concept of minimalism was like, oh, okay, it doesn't have to just be about saving money and being frugal. It's actually just about making decisions that really support what's important to me. So a really good simple example is, you know, how many email subscriptions do I have, and which of those is actually sending me things that are useful, that are actually in line with what's important to me and actually enhance my life. And the truth is, a lot of, you know, email subscriptions, quite often they'll be just to get a quick discount for something that I want to buy or whatnot, and then I'm getting spammed, you know, with things that, no, I don't want that. It's no longer important to me. And so, you know, time and our attention is such important, the most invaluable thing, the most valuable thing that we have. And so if I'm then having to go through my inbox every day and delete 10 emails that I've been spammed overnight on things that are just so unlikely to use in the future, and even if I was to use in the future, I can always resubscribe to get those, you know, the new discounts or whatever. But yeah, the idea of sort of paring back and focusing what's important, and like, honestly, that's just been such a big influence in my life from a positive perspective, because first of all, you know, again, as I said, my time and attention goes to things that are very important to me, and if it's not, then it goes. It's just, you know, I'm minimalizing. I'm keeping only what's necessary for me to have the joy in my life that I want. And I'm going to have to do another live on this. I've just realized, because it's gone all over the place. But effectively what that allowed us to do is really ride out life and some bumpy times, and also take some bigger risks. So I wouldn't have quit my full-time secure job 4 years ago had it not been for the concept of minimalism, because I'd been able to save a truckload of money and put the money that we did have into things that are really important, that feed me, and then sort of built those coaching skills and enhance my training capabilities in the personal and professional development space. So it's like a feedback loop. It's like the resources, being time and money, we're going towards things that could be fed back and then feed me, feed my joy, fill the bucket, enhance my life, make it better. So that was really invaluable. And also then when, through certain health issues and whatnot, we had support there because we hadn't blown it on stuff. So, it's again was giving us more security to sort of ride out more challenging times. So yeah, I'm very, very grateful to this dude called Ev, who's no longer doing minimalist blogging. He gave it up sort of within the couple of year period that I sort of jumped into it. He handed it over to a couple of guys, Josh and forgotten his name, but they've if you go check out the Minimalist website, they've got a doco and the endless amounts of resources, but I've actually got a link through to that from my blog that I wrote, which I'll check the link on down below if anyone's interested. So yeah, I thought I'd start with the blogging about sort of the things that sort of kicked off me in this space really early on. So yeah, that was back in 2010, that particular one. So anyway, it's been nice to be back on after my little break. Yeah, I think I'll feel into it, but I'm likely to jump back in on Friday as well. So thank you for listening. And my little musings and ramblings. I'll check the link in shortly. So have a great Wednesday, everyone. Thanks.